Yes.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Hare Krishna, Happy New Year, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Shamarani, Happy New Year to you.
To you too as well, and Jai Prakash Prabhu and Smita Mataji.
Same to you and Smita Mataji as well.
Thank you. And to you all. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol.
Yeah, last Tuesday I was visiting a family in Milton Keynes. Gosh, that week went fast. Milton Keynes last Tuesday. Gosh, that went really fast. Yeah, we had a kirtan. We were doing music kirtans, and with my keyboards, I've got this keyboard that does all the Indian style music. It's quite, if you close your eyes, you'd think there was about 5-6 musicians in the room, all playing. It's quite a good sound, I would say, which takes people by surprise a bit. I was hoping to give Shamarani a big shock when we was
Yeah, you did.
I was hoping to shock, but it didn't work out. But
No,
then
I'm
I
so
was
sorry,
thinking-
Prabhu. Sorry about that.
no, and I was thinking of the A23 then. I was thinking of the M23. I was thinking of Crawley then. I think let's come and shock Jai Prakash.
Always welcome. Any-
Yeah, but we couldn't we couldn't get down to Crawley, but we will. I mean, I'm always visiting a Horsham, Bersham, or is it Bersham? Oh, around your area anyway, schools.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, we'll leave it till later. So let's welcome Smita. Hare Krishna, Smita.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Happy
Oh,
New Year.
best of the Amishans.
You're too kind to me.
Oh, worst of the Amishans.
Yes. Now you're very unkind to me.
Oh, best and worst of the Ash. Oh, best and worst. This is our Krishna's position. He can be the best and the worst, and he still gets away with it. This is Purusha. Okay. Hare Krishna. Let's just sing this kirtan. Krishna, 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 Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Hey, Shamarani.
Krishna, 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 hey.
Krishna, 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 Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Rakshamam. Jai Prakash.
Krishna, 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 Paimam.
Smita, Rama Raghava.
Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava Rakshamam.
Okay,
Is that
yeah, Badu log boliye. Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava.
Krishna, Keshava, Rama.
Pahimam. Okay, I don't know if Badu log boliye. I don't know how to say it in Gujarati. I'm mixing my Hindi with Gujarati.
You do.
Maru bapni gari jauchu.
That's Gujarati.
That's Gujarati.
That's
Jauchu. Jauchu. Chu is the Gujarati.
That's very good, Prabhu. Impressed.
Are you impressed?
Yeah, definitely.
That was my line in the play when I was playing Parveen Babi.
I see.
And back in the 1980s, I was dressed up as Parveen.
Must have been
Parveen
Bollywood
Babi.
show.
She is not Gujarati.
And I know that very sure. And the Kandadi, who was the temple president, when he introduced me, in the play, we did this play Ek Doti. It was about a man who who wanted an extra doti, and he ended up getting a house, cat, blinking a cow, the lot, nuclear potato peelers, bionic toothbrushes, everything he was getting, all kinds of things. He only wanted a doti. And I was his wife then. And Kandari always used to introduce me as Pravin. Pravin Babi. And everyone laughed even more because he said the name wrong. Then I had to come on wearing a sari. Believe it or not, I was wearing a sari. I had black on one tooth.
In a very detail.
Oh, I had to say all the Gujarati. It was all Gujarati, my lines. And one of them was, Nakkar hu jer pevis ani mari jais. Hu maru bap ni gari chauchu. I had to say all these lines in Gujarati, you see. And of course, it was a scream for the people in the temples and where we were touring. It was a big scream. It was a lot of fun for them because we had Dorio people dressed up as Bollywood film actresses speaking this Dorio Gujarati. So it was very good preaching though. How would you say, not ingratiated, but it made people feel very warm towards us.
Humble.
Oh, not necessarily humble, but kind of, you know, they felt, oh, these people are bending over backwards to make us happy, to please us.
To welcome you.
Yeah. So that we should, because they're bending over backwards to please us, we should give them all our money now. And of course, you know, we wanted the money for the temple. It was to so many projects we were doing in those days. We were printing Gujarati books. We were printing books in Swahili. We were printing books in different languages, sending them out to East Africa and all kinds of stuff. So there we go, Jai. If you start off now with
Where are we, Prabhu? So sorry.
well, Kamsa's having a bit of a hard time here. Kamsa's
Chapter 43,
chapter 43. Yeah.
the killing of elephant
Oh, wow.
Valya Pita.
Yeah. So
Killing of
yeah,
Kamsa.
Kamsa's was very, very worried. He was getting to see all these bad omens. He was hearing a high buzzing sound in his ears, which is what we now call tinnitus, is it called? It's like a constant buzzing sound.
Yeah.
He was seeing
Tinnitus.
tinnitus, that's right. And then he was getting this other a problem with seeing, oh gosh, holes in his shadow, and he was seeing the rain. He was seeing things, and it was all very strange. It was like really fear. I mean, Kamsa represents all these asuras that came. Kamsa sent Agasura, Denakasura, Bakasura, Pralambasura. They all represent different aspects of material life and aspects of a false guru and a false this. And then Kamsa himself, he represents material fear. So you could say Kamsa was like fear personified. And at this point, he's experiencing intense fear and it came in these omens. And then, of course, Krishna is going to sort him out in due course of time. So let's start with, after taking their baths, let's start with Archana. Archana's just come in. So the Bakri babe of Hackney. The Bakri babe of Hackney. I'm thinking of all new names for you now. So go ahead with after taking their baths.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
So chapter 43, the killing of the elephant Kualaya Pida. Sorry, I haven't pronounced it properly. So after taking their bath and finishing all other morning duties, Krishna and Balrama could hear the beating of the kettle drum in the wrestling area. They immediately prepared themselves to proceed to the spot to see this fun. When Krishna and Balrama reached the gate of the wrestling arena, they saw a big elephant of the name Kualaya Pida. Am I pronouncing right?
Yeah, all you have to do to get this right, okay, is pronounce the long R, Kuvalayapida.
Kualaya Pida, being tended by a caretaker riding on its head. The caretaker was deliberately blocking their entrance by keeping the elephant in front of the gateway. Krishna could understand the purpose of the caretaker, and he prepared himself by tightening his clothes before combating the elephant. He addressed the caretaker in a very grave voice, as resounding as cloud. You miscreant caretaker, give way and let me pass through the gate. If you block my way, I shall send you and your elephant to the house of death personified.
Okay, Smita, next one.
The caretaker, being thus insulted by Krishna, became very angry. And in order to challenge Krishna, as was previously planned, he provoked the elephant to attack. The elephant then moved before Krishna like inevitable death. It rushed toward him, and tried to catch him with its trunk. But Krishna very dexterously moved behind the elephant, being able to see only at the end of its trunk. The elephant could not see Krishna hiding behind its legs, but it tried to capture him with its trunk. Krishna again very quickly escaped capture, and he again ran behind the elephant and caught its tail. Holding the elephant by its tail, Krishna began to pull it, and with very great strength, he dragged it for at least 25 yards, just as Garuda drags an insignificant snake. Krishna pulled the elephant from this side to that, from right to left, just as he used to pull a calf by its tail in his childhood. After this, Krishna went in front of the elephant and gave it a strong slap. He then slipped away from the elephant's view and ran to its back. Then falling down on the ground, Krishna placed himself in front of the elephant's two legs and caused it to trip and fall. Krishna immediately got up, but the elephant, thinking that he was still lying down, tried to push an ivory tusk through the body of Krishna by forcibly stabbing it into the ground. Although the elephant was harassed and angry, the caretaker riding on its head tried to provoke it further. The elephant then rushed madly towards Krishna. As soon as it came within reach, Krishna caught hold of the trunk and pulled the elephant down. When the elephant and caretaker fell, Krishna jumped up on the elephant, broke off one of its tusks, and with it killed the elephant and the caretaker also. After killing the elephant, Krishna took the ivory tusk on his shoulder, decorated with drops of perspiration and sprinkled with the blood of the elephant. He looked very beautiful, and thus he proceeded towards the wrestling arena. Lord Balaram took the other tusk of the elephant on his shoulder. Accompanied by their coward boyfriends, they entered the arena.
Yeah, carry on.
Oh, you want me to carry? Oh, when Krishna entered the wrestling arena with Balaram and their friends, he appeared differently to different people according to their different relationships, rasas, with him. Krishna is the reservoir of all pleasure and all kinds of rasas, both favorable and unfavorable. He appeared to the wrestlers exactly like a thunderbolt. To the people in general, he appeared as the most beautiful personality. To the females, he appeared to be the most beautiful, the most attractive male, Cupid personified, and thus increased their lust. The coward men who were present there looked upon Krishna as their own kinsman, coming from the same village of Vrindavan. The impious Kshatriya kings who were present saw him as the strongest ruler and their chastiser. To the parents of Krishna, Nanda and Yashoda, he appeared to be the most loving child. To Kamsa, the king of the Bhoja dynasty, he appeared to be death personified. To the unintelligent, he appeared to be an incapable personality. To the yogis present, he appeared to be the supersoul. To the members of the Vrushni dynasty, he appeared to be the most celebrated descendant. Thus appreciated differently by different kinds of people present, Krishna entered the wrestling arena with Balaram and his coward boyfriends. Having heard that Krishna had already killed the elephant, Kavalayapida, Kamsa knew beyond doubt that Krishna was formidable. He thus became very much afraid of him. Krishna and Balaram had long arms. They were beautifully dressed and they were attractive to all the people assembled there. They were dressed as if they were going to act on a dramatic stage, and they drew the attention of all people.
Oh, very nice. Thank you very much, Smita. Thank you for that.
Thank
So,
you.
yeah, so there we go. Look at this situation here with the elephant Kuvalayapida. So Kuvalayapida was a typical example of someone with tunnel vision. Elephant, they can only see the front of their head. They can only see forward, and they can basically, they can see at the end of their trunk. They are, although they have a very big body, they have very small vision. This has been explained here in the previous paragraph. And that represents, you know, big materialistic people. They may be very successful, very big in success, because they're focused on material energy entirely. So they'll be successful. They may gain great wealth and prestige, position, influence, etc. Still, their vision is very, very narrow and tunnel vision, and therefore they have a very weak constitution. Even though they may, like an elephant, is very big, but its constitution is very weak because it's got very limited vision. So Krishna was able to run rings. Literally, he was running rings around this elephant, a big, big elephant. And at one point, he even made the elephant trip over him. I don't know if I laid in front of an elephant, I don't think the elephant would trip over me. I think it would be time for to play squash. But with Krishna's situation, Krishna could actually lay down, and the elephant tripped over him, and he slapped him in the face then, and played around with the elephant, and finally killed this huge elephant. And then he entered the arena, and then this is a wonderful scenario now where Krishna is perceived in different ways by different people, and this is typical of God, that he will be seen differently by different people. The examples here were the cowherd men, the gopis, the mother and father of Krishna. They all saw him differently. Can anyone remember one of the examples there of how Krishna was perceived by the Brijbasis? and the people of Mathura. Does anyone remember?
So the ladies, they were, I'm just talking about a memory, I can't find it. So the ladies, they were looking at Krishna very lovingly, as if Cupid. But so
Yes, amorously, amorously, just like when these the Bollywood actors come from India and they do the shows. Has anyone been to a Bollywood show, by the way? Has anyone been to one of these Bollywood shows, and the actors, they go on the stage and they sing and they maybe
Yeah.
do some dialogues.
Mhm.
Once my wife, she went to the NEC in Birmingham back in the 1980s, and Rajesh Khanna, he came over with some a bunch of actors and actresses, and you know, it's like the heartthrob. Has anyone ever had a Bollywood heartthrob? Come on, Jai Prakash, I know you've got one. I won't tell you, Mrs.
I met Jitendra and Sridev in Canada,
Oh,
but yeah, they were doing a show there, and we were just at the Canada, and yeah, took pictures with her. But they're there with you, but they're not actually with you. So you know, although they take photos and all that with you, but they're looking somewhere else, and you're looking.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's weird.
It
But
is.
I've met singers, Mohammed Rafi.
Mohammed Rafi, lucky you.
Wow, yeah.
So I mean, he was in Malawi and he did like 6 shows every day, and we were lucky.
Wow, 6 a day.
Uh,
Wow.
No, he did 1 a day for 6 days, and actually managed to be in all of his shows. That was really good.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, he's a beautiful, smooth, Mr. Smooth, beautiful, complete control and smooth voice.
And I used to love betel leaf pan.
Oh yeah.
So and I normally have pan with me, and I actually offered pan to him every day, and he was just waiting for it every day. Good.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I mean, when I was in Mauritius, every day I'd hear on the radio, in many homes, in fact, the radio in Mauritius would only be playing Hindi film songs. That's what you'd hear on the radio. And they were always from the 1960s or the 50s, or the Kishore Kumar in the 70s and 80s. And they were always nice. They were nice songs. You know, I knew they weren't Hare
So
Krishna.
you still remember those now?
Yeah. And of course, who can forget Aja Aja?
Shami Kapoor.
Shami Kapoor, Aja Aja. What about Shama Rani? You must have had a heartthrob from Bollywood. Did you go to a show?
I have been to quite a few shows in Wembley, but yeah, not seen anybody like personally, kind of like Prabhu's seen, Jai Prakash Prabhu's seen.
Oh, okay. What about Archana? I bet Archana's been to a few shows.
Once only in my whole life, in 1980s, I saw Rishi Kapoor
Oh, Rishi Kapoor. Okay.
on the stage. That's it,
Oh, nice.
from
Yeah.
very far.
Very well. You know, Rishi Kapoor was good in that film, Bobby.
Yeah.
Bobby. I know Bobby because of Bobby's in Leicester. Because I was very friendly with the owner. We all used to go there sometimes, and he'd give us a little treat. You know, the brahmacharis, we go upstairs and he'd give us something to eat sometimes, a few rotis and a bit of dokra. Not as nice as Archana's dokra, of course. That was good dokra, very good. So yeah, what about Jigna? Have you been to any such of these shows, Jigna?
Yes, I used to work for ZTV. Do you
Okay.
know the Indian channel?
Yeah.
So we, I once helped to organize one of the awards, and the stars had come down. So I met Shah Rukh Khan.
Oh, wow. What a big one. Ooh, that's a big
Yeah.
1990s now. I remember I was at the Manor and I hear this name, Shah Rukh Khan. And of
Mm.
course, me being a Dorio, being a European, I thought immediately that they were talking about the character from the Jungle Book, which was the tiger in the
Oh,
Jungle
yeah.
Book.
Sher Khan.
Shere Khan, you see, and I kept on saying Shere Khan in the temple. And the people would say, no, Shahrukh. I said, no, Shere Khan. Mowgli, come here. And that's a nice, very, very, so, the point, what about Smita? Smita, you must have met gone to some of these shows sometime, no?
Yeah, I used to be a big fan of Udit Narayan.
All
This is-
right.
Got very good voice. So I got his autograph as well for my tickets, but I don't listen to any Bollywood songs anymore. I used to.
Yeah. Well, I was a big fan of Lakshmi Shankar.
Mm.
Lakshmi
Oh.
Shankar, what a singer. And Ashla Bhosle, of course. Not so much Lata Mangeshkar, although she's a great singer. I just like the voices of Lakshmi Shankar very much. Did anyone remember Lakshmi Shankar?
Prabhuji, I went to see, I don't remember that, but I went to see Asha Bhosle
Yeah.
in the, what's that, Royal Albert Hall.
Go.
And she was completely drunk.
Oh
And
my
she
God.
she must have sung one or two songs. And then she had the side, you have a side act.
Yeah.
And they're the ones who just completely, they had to take over because she was drunk and she was quite,
Well, there we go. So much for Ashla Bhosle.
I thought I'd let you
Asha.
know.
Now we have to change her name to not Asha, to Nirasha. No hope. No hope, Bhosle. So the point is that when you see your actor, you see your heartthrob, you feel amorous feelings are there at the distance. You see, you see them on the big screen and you see them in real life and you feel something. Now that what we are feeling is a reflection of what these Brajbasis and Mathura Basis were feeling when they saw Krishna, they were feeling natural feeling, loving feelings towards Krishna. So that's a very nice thought, to feel such a feeling. And this is Lord Chaitanya's special gift, is that other avatars, they come in different yugas, of course, yuga avatars, and they come to distribute the yuga dharma. And each yuga has a specific dharma is taught. We all know that in the Krita Yuga, it was a dhyana in Krita Yuga, Satya Yuga. Kali Yuga is Sankirtan. So in this Kali Yuga, particularly Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's actually distributing for those who want it. For those who want it, you have to want it, but he's giving Madhurya Bhakti. Madhurya Bhakti is very, very rarely given, very rare. You can get the Dasya Bhav, Sakya Bhav, Vatsalya, Sayuja, Shanta Ras, Shanta Bhav is quite easy to attain. Also, even the impersonalists can attain Shanta Ras to a certain degree. But to get Madhurya Bhakti, to have amorous feelings towards God is very, very, very rare. And then these personalities here, the citizens of Mathura, they were drinking in Krishna's beautiful face and insatiable glances, as if they were drinking the Somaras itself. Somaras is the nectar of heaven. So, and of course, Krishna and Balaram, they were seen by the Yashoda and Nanda as they're loving their sons, that they were wanting to protect them. And each person, Kamsa saw Krishna. How did Kamsa see Krishna? Does anyone remember? John Ravinda, do you remember how Kamsa perceived Lord Krishna when he entered into the arena?
I forget actually.
Okay.
As death, as death.
Yes, absolutely, as death personified, and that's why Kamsa is a perfect example of material fear, bhayam. Bhayam, he saw Krishna as death personified. And it's a very nice description here of how Krishna entered Vrindavan. So, okay, so let's move on. Let's ask Shamarani to do the next one.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare
The,
Krishna.
the citizens of Mathura city who saw Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, became very pleased and began to look on his face with insatiable glances, as if they were drinking the nectar of heaven. Seeing Krishna gave them so much pleasure that it appeared that they were not only drinking the nectar of seeing his face, but were smelling the aroma and licking up the taste of his body, and were embracing him and Balaram with their arms. They began to talk amongst themselves about the two transcendental brothers. For a long time, they had heard of the beauty and activities of Krishna and Balaram, but now they were personally seeing them face to face. They thought that Krishna and Balaram were two plenary incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan, who had appeared in Vrindavan.
Yes, and this is often the case. And this is not a fault, but it's often the case that one will see Lord Krishna and Balaram as an avatar of Vishnu. Because Krishna himself, he's not interested in being God. He's not interested in the role. God himself is not interested in God. Okay? This is important to understand. Perverted reflection is when you become very famous, you become very wealthy, whatever. After some time, you don't want to be famous and wealthy. You want to have a life. You want to have some peace and quiet. In fact, being famous and wealthy can create great fear. And we've seen that, sometimes death. People become so famous, so wealthy, famous, etc. They get, look what happened to John Lennon in 1981. Was it 81 or 80? John Lennon, he became so famous, so well, and he was always outspoken about politics, about war, this and that. Someone went and shot him. And a lot of people who become famous, they don't want it. After some time, they're fed up of it. They can't go anywhere. They can't lead a normal life. And actually, they become frightened. They become fearful. In fact, one documentary about the Beatles was at one point, they became so fearful, they didn't even want to get out the car because people were banging the windows. They were hysterical. And I remember reading the newspaper back in 1966, I think it was 66 or 67, and it was written all over it, Beatlemania. Do you remember that, Charnaravindra Prabhu?
Yes, very much.
Beatlemania. And it was like the first time in the pop world, in the media, that this kind of madness had sort of developed, that people were hysterical. And I do remember one concert in London where the famous 1970s pop singer, David Cassidy, who was actually the son of Tom Cassidy or John Cassidy, who was a famous singer and TV personality. David, he was in London at the Hammersmith Odeon, and he was doing a concert there, and a girl actually died. She got so excited and so hyper that she had heart failure, young girl, teenager, and the whole concert had to be canceled. So we try to enjoy the fame, the adoration, the power, the influence, but it's too much for us. We, us jivas, cannot cope with it. We cannot cope with it. And that affected him very much. I saw the documentary, and actually he died a very sad death. He was very, very sick at the end of his life, this singer. And I really loved this David Cassidy. I thought he had because I was at the impressionable age when he became on the scene, 1971. I think I was about 13 in 1971 when Charnaravinda Prabhu joined the temple and was traveling to India. And I was just a 13-year-old, snotty-nosed kid. And I do remember David Cassidy. I was very taken with his voice and his the whole thing with him. So Krishna, however, he is so great that he's not even interested in it. And this is called vairagyam. That God has 6 opulences. Who knows the 6 opulences of God? His 6 opulences. We teach the shloka in my Sanskrit shloka group, different groups. This one is from the Vishnu Purana. Aishvaryasya samagrasya viryasya yashashashriyaha jnana vairagyoschaiva shanam bhaga itirana. The 6 opulences of God are one of them. Who can say one of the 6 opulences? I've just told you anyway.
Fame.
All
Vairagya.
attractive.
Vairagya, fame, fame,
Aishwarya.
yeah, wealth,
Beauty,
beauty, shriyasya,
mercy,
Renunciation.
We've already done vairagya. Yashasha, yasha,
Kirti.
Kirti. Fame.
kirti,
Fame.
fame. Yeah, yash means fame
Fame.
or kirti. And the last one is
Balwan.
Balavan, Suki, strength and influence. So Krishna, he has everything, but he's not, he can give it up. So here, interesting that the Brajbasis, they were looking at Krishna and they were thinking, hey, they may be the incarnations of Lord Narayan. You see? So Krishna, we all know in the Shastra that Krishna is the source of Sankarshan, who is coming from Balaram. He is the source of Lord Narayan. Krishna appeared as Narayan in Vrindavan during the Rasa Leela. And the gopis were asking Lord Narayan, have you seen Krishna? No, they were thinking, here's God. You see, gopis also, they weren't thinking Krishna is God. They're thinking, hey, here's God. Let's ask God if he's seen Krishna. Let's ask God if he's seen Krishna. And of course, it was Krishna. He just went whoop, extra arms, put the mukut, and there we are. So this is very interesting how that's why I don't waste time arguing with people if Vishnu is God or Krishna is God. They're both God. They're both God. The origin, of course, we know Adi Purusha is Krishna. Okay, Charnaravinda Prabhu, if you want to go to the next one.
I can't.
Jigna.
I've only just managed to get back with you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Because I lost the whole ULR. You know the. But
I see the URL.
you were still running. You know, although I'd lost the source I was using, Chrome. And
Okay, I'll send you another one. I'll send you. Jigna, go on for the next paragraph.
Is it the citizens of Mathura?
Yeah.
Yeah, the citizens of Mathura began to recite Krishna's pastimes, his birth as the son of Vasudeva, his being taken into the care of Nanda Maharaj and his wife in Gokula, and all those events leading to his coming to Mathura to favor them. They spoke of the killing of the demon Putana, as well as the killing of Trinavrata, who came as a whirlwind. They also record the deliverance of the twin brothers from within the Yamala Arjuna trees. The citizens of Mathura spoke among themselves. Shankachugda, Keshi, Tenakasura, and many other demons were killed by Krishna and Balaram in Vrindavan. Krishna also saved all the coward men of Vrindavan from a devastating fire. He chastised the Galiya snake in the water of the Yamuna, and he curbed the false pride of the heavenly king Indra. Krishna held up the great Govardhan hill in one hand for 7 continuous days and saved all the people of Gokula from incessant rain, hurricane, and hailstorm. They also began to remember other enlivening activities. The damsels of Vrindavan were so much pleased by seeing Krishna's beauty and participating in his activities that they forgot the troubles of material existence. By seeing Krishna and thinking of him, they forgot all sorts of fatigue. The Mathura citizens discussed the dynasty of Yadu, saying that because of Krishna's appearance in this dynasty of the Yadus would remain the most celebrated family in the whole universe. The citizens of Mathura then began to talk about Balaram. They spoke of his very beautiful lotus petal eyes, and they remarked of him, "This boy has killed the Pralamba demon and many others also." While they were thus talking about the activities of Krishna and Balaram, they heard the vibrations of different bands announcing the wrestling match.
Okay, so here it's a very fascinating scenario. How people are perceiving Krishna. On one hand, it's kind of obvious that this is a superhuman being, yeah, and he's only a kid. You know, Krishna was just a mere boy in Vrindavan, 10 years, 11 years, tops 12. Whilst in Dwarka, it was a different scenario altogether. The Dwarkadish Krishna, or the which we know is in the Dwarkadish Krishna, the original Dwarkadish Krishna, he is there in the town of Dakor, near Ahmedabad in Gujarat. Has anybody visited Dakor to visit Rancho Rai? Yes, Shamarani. It's a very nice little town. It's actually very similar to Vrindavan. Narrow gullies, a very kind of interesting similarity. It's like a small version of Vrindavan, Dakor, and Krishna there, he is Dwarkadish Krishna. He's originally coming from Dwarka. And in Dwarka, Krishna is a young man now, you see, in the young man form. And in Dwarka, it was quite common knowledge who Krishna is. This is a different type of Krishna now, Vasudeva Krishna. The Yadu dynasty, headed by Satyaki, he was the Senapati of the Yadus. And Dwarkadish Krishna there, he had many thousands of wives. He was displaying openly, you see, he was openly displaying now his opulence as the Supreme Personality of Godhead in Dwarka, quite openly. Narada visited him and visited all the different palaces and saw Krishna expanded in his Svanksha form, which is a perfect replication of his form as Krishna, Vasudeva Krishna, in different palaces. And it was as if, you know, Krishna was, you know, on a television form of Krishna, you know, you saw him on all the screens, but he was doing different things at different, sometimes you see many screens are there. You go into Curry's or into these big, it used to be Dixon's back in the 1990s, 80s. And you go there, you see all the people, if there's someone playing tennis, they're all moving at the same time. Or if it's cricket, they're all hitting a 4 at the same time, you know. It's all, but with the Svanksha, with Krishna, you'd see the same person, but doing all different things at the same time. So Krishna was openly, you know, he wasn't hiding anything about himself in Dwarka. He was displaying his opulences as the Supreme Personality of Shri, his unmatchable beauty, his wealth, Aishwarya, Dwarka was a fabulously wealthy city. I mean, it was built. Do you know who built the Dwarka? Who built the Dwarka city? All right, who built the Sabha? There was one Sabha, one big assembly hall in Dwarka. Who built that? His name begins with V. He's the Ishtadev of the Gajars and the Gajar community.
Mm.
Vishvakarma. Vishvakarma. So you always see Vishvakarma with a hammer and a chisel or something in his hand. Vishvakarma. So Dwarka was built by the demigods. It rivaled, of course, it was even more beautiful than Amarvati, the abode of Indra. And the Sabha was built by Vishvakarma. And it said that, described in the Dwarka Leela, that when you walked into the Sabha, all the 6 symptoms of material existence ceased to affect you. The 6 whips of the material existence, you were given mukti from that just by entering into the Sabha or in Dwarka. So in Dwarka, you see Krishna now, he's displaying openly, I am Bhagwan. I am the Lord of everything. Whilst in Vrindavan, Krishna was hiding his opulence. He was hiding that opulence. He was displaying it in such a way that people were suspicious. They thought, ooh, maybe he's a deva. Maybe Krishna is some kind of a devta. Maybe he's even Narayan himself, as it says here. And in Mathura, there was some sort of rumors going around. Hey, maybe Krishna and Balaram are Narayan. Maybe they're Narayan. And of course, and that's the mood of Vrindavan. Krishna he's never God there. So if we ever go back to Goloka Vrindavan, you will never meet God. I'm sorry to disappoint you all. I'm sorry, Jai. I know Jai Prakash is really looking forward to it. He's doing all his accountancy work and he's working it out, accountancy brain. Okay, I'm planning now ahead. Planning ahead. But when you get there, hey, where's God then? Oh, who God? What's God? No need for God.
Is that because Vrindavan Krishna never left Vrindavan? Is that reason why?
No, yeah, but Krishna in Vrindavan, you see, you don't need to have God in Vrindavan. There's no need. God is there, especially in relation to the material world, as the Srishti Karta. Who knows what Srishti Karta means? Srishti.
Like
Creator.
who's,
Yeah, the
creator.
creator, and the Vishvambara, the maintainer. Yeah, Vishvambar is a name for Lord Chaitanya, means the maintainer of everything. The Srishti Karta, the Vishvambar, and the Pralaya or Prajvara. He appears as in his form of Shiva. Vishnu transforms into Lord Shiva for the purpose of Pralaya, to destroy the material creation. So in relationship to this world, God is very important here in that respect. But in God's world, especially in Vrindavan, God is conspicuous by his absence. Maybe there's a rumor that there's God. Maybe Narayan. Yes, have you heard Narayan? Yeah, maybe there's a God called Narayan. But Krishna is not God. He's not God there. He's exactly like in Vrindavan. He's a little naughty boy. Little naughty boy. Chitta Chor. चिट्टा चोर है मक्खन
Pinching the
चोर
yogurt. Pinching the yogurt.
he's in the yogurt he's got his hands in the dahi again he's after those he's after Archana's bakris he's after her bakri chore okay so this is the mood in Vrindavan. Krishna is there, but he's not God. He is, but he's displaying in Vrindavan Vairagya, his full opulence. So many people, they say, how is God renounced? Like scratching their head. And his Vairagya, his opulence of Vairagya is his greatest opulence. You see? Now, if I was God, I would make sure everyone knew about it. If I was God, see, because I'm not God. That's why. But when you are, there's no need to go showing it off and I'm blowing the trumpets and no, you don't want to. You don't want to. You want to be treated as an odd. You want your mummy to be telling you off. You want your mummy to be chasing you with a stick. I'm giving it to you. You, come here. You, Bacha, Aja, Aja, come here. You again. Yeah, let me tie you up. You know, Krishna loves it. Yes. This is the special sweetness of Krishna in Vrindavan. This Smita's read. Jai Prabhu, please carry on.
The famous wrestler Kankura then began to talk with Krishna and Balaram. My dear Krishna and Balaram, he said, we have heard about your past activities. You are great heroes, and therefore the king has called you. We have heard that your arms are very strong. The king and all the people present here desire to see a display of your wrestling abilities. A citizen should be obedient and please the mind of the ruling king. Acting in that way, the citizen attains all the kinds of good fortune. One who does not care to act obediently is made unhappy because of the king's anger. You are cowherd boys, and we have heard that while tending your cows in the forest, you enjoy wrestling with each other. We wish, therefore, for you to join with us in a wrestling match so that all the people present here, including the king, will be pleased. Shall I continue?
Yes, please.
Krishna immediately understood the purpose of Chanura's statements, and he prepared to wrestle with him. But according to the time and circumstances, he spoke as follows. You are a subject of the king of the Bhojas, and you live in the jungle. We are all also indirectly subjects, and we try to please him as far as possible. This offer wrestling is a great favor of his, but the fact is that we are simply boys. We sometimes play in the forests of Vrindavan with our friends who are our own age. We think that no combat persons of equal age and strength is good for us, but to fight great wrestlers like you would not be good for the audience. It would contradict their religious principles. Krishna thus indicated that the celebrated strong wrestler should not challenge Krishna and Balaram to fight. In reply to this, Chanura said, my dear Krishna, we can understand very well that you are neither a child nor a young man. You are transcendental to everyone, as is your big brother, Balaram. You have already killed the elephant Kualya Arpita, who was capable of fighting thousands of other elephants. You have killed him in a wonderful way. Because of your strength, it behooves you to compare with the strongest wrestlers amongst us. I therefore wish to wrestle with you, and your elder brother Balaram will wrestle with Mustika. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 53rd chapter of Krishna, the killing of the elephant Kualaya Pita.
Oh, very nice, very nice. So here again, Krishna, he's making out, look, you know, I'm just a kid, you know, I'm just a little boy. Give me a break. You know, so this is Krishna's position. It's very, very wonderful. In this regard, Krishna is greater than God. When people say, oh, Krishna isn't God, I say, no, no, he isn't. He's greater than God. Because in many ways, Narayan is God. He is displaying all the opulences in Vaikuntha of God, of Bhagavan, Aishvaryasya Samagrasya Viryasya Yashashashliya Jnana Vaya Gayoshchaiva Shanam Bhaga Itirana. So this shloka in the Vishnu Purana is very valuable. Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada would quote this many, many times to describe who God, what God is. Not who God is, but what God is first. Before we talk about who he is, we have to know what he is. No good talking about God unless you know what God is. And most people don't have a clue what God is. And in, of course, Krishna himself, even though he's the origin of everything, he's completely detached from it. He's not interested in having that position. He just wants to be an ordinary personality, and where he may occasionally display the opulences of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But definitely Narayan is worshipped in South India, especially Lakshmi Narayan, as God. And Lord Shiva and Parvati are worshipped as God. Also, Goddess Parvati is often referred to as the Supreme Goddess. In the Devi Purana, she is regarded as the Supreme because in this material world, she is Supreme. Material world is called Devi Dham. Then is Mahesh Dham. So in each Dham, the presiding deity is the Supreme. So in the material world, Durga is the Supreme. We don't deny that. And that's in the Devi Purana. That's why many people consider Durga as the Supreme. There's no condition, but she's the Supreme in this material existence, which is immeasurable. Then in Shiva's world, Maheshtam, Lord Shiva, he's worshipped as Bhutanath, which means Lord of the common man. The common people, meaning the majority population of the material world, they are Praviti Margis. Who can tell me what a Praviti Margi is? Jai?
That somebody who is basically giving don't know how to explain that in English.
Margi is
the way.
the way.
Yeah.
And
Pravati is good fortune or
yes, yeah, Pragrati, like Pragrati, progress.
Yeah,
Progress.
progress. Yeah.
How do
yeah.
you say in Gujarati progress?
Pravruti.
Pravruti, there you go. Yes,
Pravruti.
the path of material progress. 90% of the population of the universe are Praviti Margis, you see. They're interested in Janma, Shruti, the good wealth, Dhanam, Janma, good birth. This is explained by Kunti Devi in her prayers to Krishna. Beauty, having nice features, having fine, refined features. It bodes well. You see, if you have a nice body, nice features, you're accepted, people are attracted to you. Just like we're going back to our movie stars now. You see, they've got these material progress. They're on that path very strongly. So those who are Praviti Margis, they will worship Lord Shiva or someone equal in that mode of Lord Shiva, which is basically in Tamagun. So Praviti Margi people are in Tamas and Rajas, very little Sattva gun therein. So you find majority of the religions on this planet, they're Praviti Margi religions. Oh God, please open the doors to heaven so that I can enjoy. Huh? This is the materialist. Oh God, please open the doors to heaven so that I can enjoy. Forget about you. You know, I'm going to be the Purusha. This is the mentality of materialists. So therefore, Lord Shiva is God in that sense. And he is God because he's Vishnu transformed for the purpose of Praviti Marg and the Pralaya. So Krishna himself, he's not interested in the job. Krishna isn't interested in the job of being
God.
God. He's not interested in the job of being God. Yeah, he's yeah, we just put that there. Thank you very much for sharing that, Jigna, for Charna Ravinda. That database was very helpful. So on that point, we've got the new chapter to start on Tuesday. And well, we hope everyone had a very nice new year and a nice I don't know if you went on a Sankirtan or you went to the temple, or we had a very quiet New Year's Eve, actually, my mother and myself. I'm with her at the moment. She hasn't been very well. So I've had to been helping her and went to the hospital yesterday and this and that, you know, so material world, you know, it's a miserable place and we're in a suffering condition. But if we hear about Krishna, our suffering immediately stops. And when they entered into the Sabha in Dwarka Dham, immediately upon entering into that Sabha, all the sufferings of material existence stopped. That was the power of that Sabha. We'll read about it later when we go to the Dwarka Leela. Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you
Hare
very
Krishna.
much.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare
Haribol.
Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna,
Thank you.
everybody. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, everybody. See you all next week. Have a
Oh,
lovely
glories to Srila Prabhupada.
All glories to-
Thank you.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Let's do what the Yadus would say. Namo Namaha. Namo Namaha. Namo Namaha.
Namaha.
And of course, the Mayavadis will say, Namo Narayan. Namo, I'm offering respect to you, Narayan. And then Prabhupada said, no, this is Daridra Narayan, poor Narayans. Narayan is never poor. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare
Take
Krishna.
care.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.